failure to register a sex.
You are correct. You're a habitual felon in both cases. You're looking at 25 years to life imprisonment on each case.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
You're Ronnie Palmore, correct? Okay. In these two cases, you were charged 24 CO 1525 and 1526 with the third-degree felony of unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon. Okay. We have two prior convictions here of other felonies. So this third-degree felony can be enhanced to a second-degree felony punishment. And in 24 CO 1526, you're charged with illegal possession of cocaine, a controlled substance. And that is a second-degree felony. No, it's habitual.
And I believe the other one,
Because they're alleging three convictions here.
I believe the other one's habitual as well, John. Yes, sir.
It's not, but it's not, it doesn't have the two convictions, and it doesn't say anything about it being subsequent. You see the indictment? Paragraph 23 on second part of the indictment. You don't have that language yet. After one became final, he committed the offense.
I guess the one I have that says after the second paragraph says, third paragraph says, after the conviction and cause number -82383-07 became final, the defendant committed the felony of failure to register a sex.
You are correct. You're a habitual felon in both cases. You're looking at 25 years to life imprisonment on each case. That could be stacked in the appropriate circumstances. My point is, this is a more serious crime situation. Here's the issue is, I'm looking at these, at the bonds. What's the bond on 17 in a second? What was the bond on 24 CO 1525? Mm-hmm. And the other one was $15,000. And those bonds were placed on January 6th of 23, the day after he was arrested. Then the indictments show up, and there's no way that those are bonds for habitual felons that are reasonable bonds. And he's not indicted until a long time afterwards. Looks like the indictments are 7/7, which is a year and a half later, but there were no further bonds set. Well, the difference is this is habitual felony status. It's logical that the magistrate didn't know that, because we're talking about convictions out of Dallas and Collin County, Texas. And that's a problem. I don't think the bonds are adequate under the circumstances of this case. These two cases. It's been convicted 3 times before, and now we've got 2 new indictments. Even though you're presumed innocent, the fact of the matter is there's probable cause to make the arrest and probable cause to indict under law. If you're looking at habitual felony status, you need to be very careful of the decisions you make. But that's true for everybody. But in your case, not unlike most others, they're not facing 25 to life if they make a bad decision that results in an indictment. Yes, ma'am.
The county judge says the bond was set to him, and he posted them in those reasons in compliance with his bond condition. The purpose of bail is to give assurances that he would show up and he would be present in court, not to be, he has showed up in the court, he's here today, he had a prior statement that he had showed up with, he's continuously in contact with me, and is good about being present. So regardless of what those bonds were set at in 2023, I would request that you wouldn't move with and raise those bonds, because the bonds that he has now are doing what they're meant to do, which is him showing up and ensuring that he's going to be present when other people are to be present.
Let's say somebody goes out and gives 100 people, and then they say they promise you can put a fence around me and I'm going to live at home. And you can put a fence around me so I can't get up. That would ensure pretty much that he's not going to get out. That's fine. But it's preposterous to think of that. Yes. I mean, then you open it for everybody to do that. Why would that be allowed? It wouldn't be, because bonds are based upon, according to the law, are based upon two things: criminal history and the circumstances of the crime. And the purpose, among other things, is to ensure that he's not going to be a danger to others. But he was an habitual felon, 2 convictions ago. And now we have 2 new cases of illegal possession of a firearm by a felon and drugs, cocaine. And the circumstances here under the probable cause affidavit for this reviewing. This is real confusing because you had an officer, Palomoris, and the defendant is Palmore. Be careful about how this reads. Aggravating factors in the charged offense. What we have here is drugs and guns together, which we all know is a lethal combination. And the defendant knows that actions have consequences, since he was convicted of aggravated sexual assault of a child in 2008 out of Collin County, Texas. Also failing to register as a sex offender in 2008 out of that court. After those convictions became final, he committed a third crime and was convicted of failing to register as a sex offender, and was convicted of that in 2010 in Dallas, Texas. And then, so here he is here in Jefferson County, and he is the defendant apparently goes inside the house that is known by the officers to be a drug, and he comes out and then say the plastic bags that apparently had the cocaine. Plastic bags on the passenger seat where the defendant was sitting. And the second larger bag was in the, I think this is center, it's P-E-N-T-E-R, I think it's center at console. And they located a firearm under the passenger seat where the defendant was sitting, sniffing, dressing. Okay.
Your Honor, no, the state would just request that his bond be increased. I believe it's too low based on his criminal history, as well as the danger to the community, again, with a firearm, being in the vehicle along with drugs. Dangerous.
Was he fired on you? Oh. Where are you working?
He's in self-employed.
Sir?
Self-employed, and I was trying to explain it to the last time, but
Self-employed of what? For what?
well, I help people and things that are in the house, but I was trying to explain to you that I have a very strong support system.
Sir?
I have a strong support system. I was trying to explain it to the last time, but
You've been indicted with 2 new crimes. How's that working out for you? These 5 times total. You have 3 prior convictions of serious offenses, and now you have 2 more crimes, a firearm case and a drug case. How's that support system working out?
which means
It looks like it's a failure.
Because, I mean, considering that his 3 prior convictions are from over 10 years ago, I would say that he has done a pretty good job.
Like he didn't learn his lesson, you mean?
I would think that that is evidence of something that he has gone this long without having any type of issue.
How long have you gone? Me, all of us in here. I mean, you're not supposed to commit crime. All of us. All of us. You're interrupting. You're not supposed to commit crimes. You got 3 convictions. Now you have 2 more indictments. You're look at every felony offense above a state jail felony. You look at 25 to life. I'm sorry about that, but there's guns and drugs in this vehicle, and you're going into an narcotics house. Well, we'll let a jury decide that. They'll decide. It's not on your terms; it's on theirs. The fact is, so you do, so you're able to pay the attorney everything, huh? Okay. I want to see your last income tax return, so we can see what he's been owing. Okay. I want that. There's going to be a hearing next week. You get your last 3 income tax returns in the last 3 years. I want those. Huh? Why not? Everybody files income tax returns. How you paying her? So you're getting an income from, how do you exist? How do you exist if you don't have an income? You're on a free ride?
Not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. That's what you're saying. Because anything that's not given to you from your family, you have to report as income. I want to see, when was the last time you filed an income tax return, sir? Have you ever? You never filed an income tax return. How old are you? 87. So you're 25, 38 years old? 37, and you've never filed an income tax return? You've never filed an income tax return.
I had a job. I think never filed.
That's a crime, not to file.
Now I'm getting back. I have to stay long on the job to maybe file it.
You're just living off the grid. Yes, you are until you get caught. You're living off the grid. That's what it seems from your criminal history and what's happened here. You have no income. You want to claim you have income, but you don't file any income tax returns like all of us have to do. And then you have money to pay this lady.
Well, I help family members out.
I'm sorry, if you get an income, if it's a gift to you, you have to report it. Don't act like you don't know. We all know that. That's why the income taxes, we all pay income taxes. We don't live off the grid. You're 38 years of age. And you know better. It's your criminal history shows that you know better. You know mistakes have consequences, but you just hadn't been caught. And the bonds are woefully. It was obvious that and there's nothing to reflect that criminal history was ever shown, that was ever part of this. And go ahead.
If I may, looking at that same part of the file affidavit that we were referencing earlier, the third to last line, there was a mention from officers about a first degree felony in 2008. So there was a mention in that part of the file affidavit that the JV basically would have had been assessing his bond.
If they would have considered it, I don't know, but
Had actually considered it.
we're talking about 3. He was an habitual felon at this time. Not just one, he was an habitual. He was facing 25 to life in front of him. And 25 to life never gets a victim. That never. That's just, I've done this my whole life. It's never that bad. After your 3 convictions, you've been charged with guns and drugs, the scourge of the world, of America. The scourge. You can't say that that's not true. It is. So it has accounting for it. Your bonds are going to be double. What are they, 15 and 10? I think. Is that right? Yeah. It's going to be double. You are living where? 1350 from? You will be on home confinement. you will have a GPS device on you. You leave the house, your bond will be revoked and you will stay in jail. Do you live there alone? Who do you live with? You can only leave to go to medical care if it's necessary. And you're not working, so you don't have to have a problem going to work.
I mean, they haven't got listened to $50 but
Well, you're not filing income tax returns and showing any income.
they pay cash.
That doesn't matter. It's cash is money. That's accountable. I know what you're doing. You're avoiding responsibility under the law. Yes, I'm sorry, sir. You just can't say I received cash, so I don't have to pay income tax returns. I don't have to be accountable for that. Yes, if you're paid in cash, check, any other monetary fashion, you are part of it has to go to taxes. It's the way it is. Don't ask. You know how it goes, but you have avoided it. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to live in a home and stay in home, except for to and from medical care. And the bondsman finds out that you have left, and also to come to court in the most direct route possible each day. You understand what the rules are. It's time you're old enough. You have to start following it like we all follow. That's the way we all work together in this country and live amongst ourselves. But it doesn't take anybody that's much older than a second or third grader to know that guns and drugs are one of the most lethal combinations in the world. And someone who is facing a minimum of 25 years, third-degree felony or above, needs to be completely distanced from criminal behavior. You're shaking your head like, no, that's wrong. And none of that is wrong. It's all correct. And
I was just caught up in the situation.
that's not your fault that you're a habitual felon.
Well, I expected the crime to happen, but
Well, there's guns, and you're going into a drug house. They find drugs in the car, but we're gonna let a jury decide your fate. Those are the rules. We're gonna let a jury decide your fate. You're sitting in a debate.
And for you, my subscribers that are watching, I have placed upon the screen now a playlist where I release upcoming episodes often, so please save it to your favorites and don't tell the others, as this is for you to say thank you. See you next time.